Hey, we're celebrating Women's Equality Day. It doesn't feel much like a party this year, which is a super big bummer. But just like baby, I won't be put in a corner, held back, or pushed around. So let's right the wrongs and get women back to having free choice over their own bodies. 'Cause girls just want to have fundamental human rights. This week, our impactful donations focus on 2 female candidates looking to flip Republican-held seats and a nonprofit dedicated to getting Democratic pro-choice women elected to office. Let's support U.S. House candidate Bridget Fleming for New York District 1. The Republican incumbent, who has held this seat since 2015, is not seeking re-election, leaving an opportunity for Fleming to step up and flip this seat blue. A champion for workers, a champion for the environment, a champion for women's rights, a champion for all. Fleming is a trusted community leader that is ready to fight for her community and our rights in Congress. Nikki Budzinski could use our help to flip the newly drawn Illinois District 13 House seat. Biden won this district in 2020, so let's help keep the trend going. Nikki is a proven leader and an experienced public servant running for Congress to build on her life's work of improving the lives of workers. She is pro-reproductive rights and pro-environmental protections. Her Republican counterpart is neither. And Emily's List. Emily's List recruits women to run for office at every level across the country who can make significant contributions to education, healthcare, voting rights, and economic equality. Since 1985, they have systematically defined a strategic approach to winning elections that drive progressive change. After all, finding strong women and building winning campaigns is the ignition of the flames of change in our government. Okay, so in my effort to get back to my roots of being a voter advocate, let's talk about the hard-fought right to vote for women. I am certain that women in general have been fighting for equal rights since the beginning of time. But let's focus on the American suffragist movement and why all women in this country now have a right and a responsibility to vote in every election. Our country's women fought for more than 70 years to earn their right to vote, and it was brutal at times. When the movement was stalling in 1917, the ladies of the National Women's Party decided to protest in front of the White House, the first people to ever do such a thing. President Wilson and others looked at this act as disloyal, especially once World War I started, and had these silent sentinels arrested and put in prison in Occoquan, Virginia. Apparently Wilson was a teetotaler and didn't appreciate women on metal poles. Well, they continued to protest in prison by going on a hunger strike, which resulted in them being tortured by force feeding through the nose. Ugh. As if that wasn't awful enough, these women were battered, choked, and beaten to unconsciousness by over 40 guards on order of the prison superintendent. When the public found out about this night of terror and the general conditions that these women were living in, the outcry was a rallying call for granting women the right to vote. The passage of the Susan B. Anthony Act, better known as the 19th Amendment, took another 2 years. This was just the first step towards equal rights for women, because we all know that women of color had to fight much longer, and many are still fighting today. We should honor them by making sure our voices are no longer silenced in this country. One woman should always equal one vote. This leads me to Civic Responsibility Challenge number 9. First, honor the women in your lives by encouraging every eligible woman to register, get educated, and then vote in November. Second, honor the women that are brave enough to represent us in our government by posting a shout out or repost a campaign video on social media. I know you can do it. Okay, let's get to our cocktail. This week, it's a classic that I like to call the Ginnie Ginnie Tonic. It's one of my faves. The cocktail, not the Supreme Court Justice's wife. You are gonna need 2 ounces of gin and then 4 ounces of tonic, and then a garnish of your choice. A highball glass with plenty of ice. You know that I love gin. I've featured it in a lot of my different cocktails. Gins have different flavors. So at my happy hour, I'm gonna put out a variety of gins and then also a variety of tonics, because you can get just regular tonic, or you can get juniper, or this one is orange, grapefruit. One of my favorites, of course, is elderflower. So gins can be flavored different and tonics can be flavored different, and you just have to mix and match until you find which one you like the best. For this one, I'm using the Aviation Gin, which you know I love. So 2 ounces of gin, okay, and then you're gonna do 4 ounces of tonic. Regular one. Okay, this is just a straight up gin, straight up tonic. Okay. So notice I didn't measure the ounces, I just filled the glass up to the top of tonic water. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a basic lime wheel as my garnish. And that is the Ginnie tonic. So refreshing. The cocktail, not the Supreme Court Justice's wife. I hope that this week you are inspired to make an impactful donation and challenge yourself to be involved in our elections and our government. Don't ever be silent about the things that truly matter. Your voice matters. Use it. Next week, I'll have my very first guest on the show to talk about Election Day, and we'll be making my original recipe, the Vienna Mule. See you then.